For weeks, we read about my salary, which they distorted, about taxes, which they said should have been paid on money we never got, but we endured that. Later, they came about and openly endorsed my opponent in this race. Just 2 days ago, the Washington Post published yet another attack on my character and reputation in a desperate attempt to stop my political campaign for the United States Senate. These attacks involve a minor, and they're completely false and untrue about something that happened nearly 40 years ago. But more than being completely false and untrue, they're very hurtful to me personally. I've been married to my wife, Kayla, for nearly 33 years. We have 4 children. I have 1 daughter, and I have 5 granddaughters. I have the highest regard for the protection of young children. When I returned to Gadsden 40 years ago, after military service, I went to work in the office of the district attorney. As a student of the law, I have served in public office on and off for the last 40 years. To be attacked for allegations of sexual misconduct contradicts my entire career in law. I want to make it clear to the media present and to the people present. I have not provided alcoholic beverages, beer, or anything else to a minor. I have not been guilty of sexual misconduct with anyone. These allegations came only 4.5 weeks before the general election on December 12th. Why now? For 40 years, I have been closely scrutinized in the press and the public media. I've had investigations by the Attorney General. I've had investigation by the Judicial Inquiry Commission on more than one occasion. I've had investigations by the Court of the Judiciary. I've been in 5 statewide campaigns in which they do opposition research. They do investigations, as you can see in every one I've ever run. 3 county elections and 2 major controversies over religious liberty and the 10 Commandments and same-sex marriage. I've been investigated more than any other person in this country. To think that grown women would wait 40 years to come right before an election to bring charges is absolutely unbelievable. Why now? The Democrats and the Republican establishment know the importance of this election. In fact, most people in America know the importance of this election. They see it as a prelude to the elections coming in 2018. It may very well determine the future of our country. My opponent is 11 points behind. That came out just days before this article came out. They're desperate. This article is a prime example of fake news, an attempt to divert attention from the true issues which affect our country, like health care, military readiness, tax reform, immigration, and national debt. We do not intend to let the Democrats or the established Republicans or anybody else behind this story stop this campaign. There are investigations going on. In the next few days, there will be revelations about the motivations and the content of this article. They will be brought to the public. We fully expect the people of Alabama to see through this charade and to vote in the primary coming up. As Mr. Armistead said, we do not engage in negative campaigning. We haven't, and I've been blistered in articles from last 2 to 3 months on television, and it will continue. I do not expect the Washington Post to stop. I think they have a political agenda, and I think they're running that agenda, and everybody in this room, every person watching on these cameras should ask themselves, isn't it strange that after 40 years of constant investigation, people have waited to 4 weeks prior to the general election to bring their complaints. That's not a coincidence. It's an intentional act to stop the campaign. May God bless you, bless the state of Alabama, and the United States of America. Thank you.
That was Judge Roy Moore speaking to supporters in Alabama. He called the allegations against him fake news. He called his own potential election the most important political race in the country. He said that the Democrats and the Republican establishment are coming after him. He claimed also that he has been investigated, Roy Moore, more than any other person in this country. Hillary Clinton probably would like to have a word. I'm going to go around and let the panel all react to what they just heard. I'm going to start with Karine Jean-Pierre, who now really is here, even no longer a figment of my imagination. Karine, your thoughts?
Wow, just wow. I mean, you watch him and you're just kind of like, wow, I'm wasting my time, my energy watching this guy because he's full of it. There's nothing that he's saying that's at all true. So now the Republicans were not only supporting a bigot, a racist, a known homophobe, and also a lawless individual. He got thrown off the bench twice because he wouldn't follow the letter of the law, the Constitution. Now they're supporting a pedophile. And it really is reminiscent of the Access Hollywood tape. This is exactly what happened. There was this fake distance from the Republicans. And then, after a moment, after a while, when he looked like he could win, they brought him right back in. And it is just insane, but not surprising because we have a president who is a sexual predator. More than a dozen women have come out. And they put themselves on the line and said, hey, this president has sexually assaulted them. But there's another part of this too, Joy, which is the Bannon component. I mean, the Republicans are in this situation because of Bannon. And I cannot understand why you would allow a white nationalist who runs a racist website to be deciding who is going to be the U.S. Senator and who's not going to be a U.S. Senator. And the thing about it is Bannon is not a kingmaker. He's a blowhard.
Yeah, and he's not shown that he can do anything other than jump on a primary that was already a foregone conclusion and pretend that he created the result. I mean, there's no proof here that Bannon has any special magic electoral, skills when it comes to elections. He just is riding whatever the most, extremist, the most racist, the most sexist, the most whatever bandwagon that he thinks will grow the so-called alt-right. And he managed to trick the New York Times into running Clinton Cash, book
that's right.
Of conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton, which was actually probably the one coup he really has actually pulled off.
Well, I mean, he's kind of like a P.T. Barnum-like figure in a lot of ways, a master propagandist. Before the Donald Trump election, every election that Steve Bannon put his finger on, they lost.
Yeah.
You go back to the 2014 Senate races.